How's it going, gamers? Today we got a few things to talk about here. Just wanted to start off this week's topics about The Last of Us, actually. I know some of you guys said you guys haven't watched it yet, or you guys are planning to watch it, but I actually just watched the last episode this past Sunday, and I thought it was really good. I haven't played the game. I've played the first probably 30-40 minutes of it, but my girlfriend has watched some playthrough of it. I think she watched PewDiePie play through it, and she said it's a pretty faithful adaptation. And I've also seen some stuff online about it too, about it being a pretty faithful adaptation. Just wanted to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions. I know most of you guys haven't seen it yet, but yeah.
I'm very much on the train of I don't watch series until all the episodes are out, so I can just binge it in one day because I hate waiting like multiple weeks. I think the only shows I do that with are like I get it for Game of Thrones. And that was it. That was it.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to watch it. Like Pedro Pascal's on top of the fucking world right now, and he's like crushing every single role he does. So I'm excited to see him in this too. So I know Connor's watched more of it, and he can probably speak more to what's going on in the actual series because I definitely can't.
Yeah, I'm caught up to the last episode, and what I've seen so far I really like. I think it does have a few pacing issues where some of the episodes are way too slow, and I think that The Last of Us game capitalized on like those small breaks in between to kind of like get an escape from all like the extreme violence and like rushes that everything is. Like, oh, all the enemies are rushing out, you gotta kill everything real quick, and then there's like a slow dialogue break, right? But with the show, a lot of those violent scenes only happen like sparingly, so there's nothing you really need to break up from. It's just a lot of dead silence a lot of the time, which I think can kind of hurt like the audience's attention span. You know what I'm saying, Tusha? Like,
Yeah.
like
I was gonna touch upon like the whole game is about like killing zombies and trying to survive, but the whole show itself, it didn't really have that many zombies. Like there were a few episodes where the zombies were like the main topic or the main like issue, but in reality it's just a TV show about Joel and Ellie. Which,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it touches on like the story beats of the game, but you're not going through the game with Joel and Ellie, and you're not what am I trying to say? You're not killing zombies. But
when people
I
too,
heard
like,
in season two they're gonna add more zombies to it, which is gonna be good. But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see until they release any information
I think
on
one
that.
of the also other things. So I've seen a few things. One, some people are saying that it's not faithful, but they're saying it's a good thing that it gets to tread its own story, and I think that has its own merit. I definitely think that they've toned back on Joel as a character in terms of like his violent nature. They definitely show hints of it, but I definitely feel that in the games he is way more active with like killing zombies, killing people, just beating people's faces in.
Yeah.
Like he holds no bars back in the game. But I feel like they're definitely going for a much older, softer side to Joel in this to try and better empathize with Ellie, which in its own way is better storytelling, right? Like the game is a game for a reason. There has to be action. I do wish that he was a little bit more violent in the show, though. Like we get to see beat up a lot more people.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is.
I'm
sure once I see the
show,
final, I'll enjoy it.
Yeah, the show definitely does the problem of like say don't tell. Like they're always talking about like, oh, Joel is very aggressive, Joel is like murdering people, but you don't really get to see him do it that much. And so that's another issue I have with it. Whereas the game, obviously you're playing as Joel and Ellie and you're doing all these things, you're actually these characters. Whereas the TV show, you're just watching these characters do actions. And so that's a big difference between a video game versus a TV show.
Like,
you know?
I felt that the one torture scene, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I felt that perfectly characterized Joel's character, and I characterize his character. And I just wish that was spread out a little bit more evenly throughout the show, so we really get to see that dark side of Joel more often.
Yeah,
So we get to
definitely.
see the soft side that cares about Ellie, but we get to see the brutal side that'll do anything to survive and keep his family alive.
Yeah, I think it's a because we really don't have a lot of live adaptations of video games now, so I think it's a nice step in the right direction so far. I know there's some controversy, but I think they're even straying from the main storyline of the game. I still think everyone seemed like it's pretty solid so far, so I think it's nice to see that.
I'm hoping that they do stray pretty far away from the story of the second one, the second game, because I know a lot of people had a lot of problems with that one. So hopefully that's where that not
Well,
playing
wasn't
by the
there
book
one
is
particular
sometimes a good
reason
thing.
why people don't like The Last of Us
there's
2
one
video game?
particular reason.
Yes, I know about that. But
I think that was done so poorly in the games that they should just make their own story for the second season. I think everyone would be happy if they change that. Or
for
at
casting
least,
reasons, I'd be surprised if they do that.
yeah, at least to make a better setup for what happens.
Yeah. Which is that could also be a reason why they're splitting up like the second Last of Us game into two seasons.
Yeah.
So they can drag that out a little bit more if they do still want to have that major storyline event there. But
Yeah, I
more in
agree.
season 3.
I think if they were going to go that route, they should have set it up in season 1 in some manner.
We'll
Like they
see.
should have done
Again,
some slight inkling of setup here.
I've
but I don't think
watched
they did
like
that,
kind of
so.
like high level playthroughs of the games, so I know like the main like story arc of it, but I haven't actually played it through, so I don't necessarily know exactly when it happens in the second game in terms of like relation to the overall story. But
It's pretty early on.
we'll see.
Yeah, I'm scared it's gonna happen in like the first episode of the second season. It's like, oh, here we go.
All right, well, don't
That's
need to watch
bad.
this anymore.
Right.
That's some Game of Thrones shit right there.
Yeah.
And I feel like the whole theme of the second part of The Last of Us is just, it's not this. I mean, obviously it's not the same story as the first one, but it's just a whole different. Because the first one's all about like surviving together, and then Joel becoming attached to Ellie, whereas the second season, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but it's like it twists the whole first part just
Well,
like, on its
I
tail.
can explain it in a non-spoiler way. It's about
Yeah, go
why
ahead.
revenge isn't good.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, sorry, I'm not a Jedi. I don't care about these things. Like, revenge is good sometimes.
Yeah.
It has its purpose. So it doesn't really make sense why that was the main push when we see in the first seasons, like, it's a necessary thing in this world.
Exactly.
But-
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably still gonna watch the second season just because I really did enjoy the first one, but I guess we'll just see. We'll see how it turns out.
Oh yeah.
Are there
One
any
other
other
series that I'm
media
excited
things
about.
going on? Oh, go ahead, sorry.
One of the things that I'm excited about for I think it's this year is they're coming out with that Percy Jackson TV
Oh,
show on Disney Plus, and it's that same guy from the Atom Project. Do you not like Percy Jackson?
I love Percy Jackson, the books.
Yeah. Well, the movies are shit.
Yeah. Oh, you think the
But-
show's not going to be shit?
I feel like
Well,
the
we'll see.
show's gonna be
It's-
good.
It's a totally
it's good.
different. I hope it's good. Again, we'll see what they do. I hope they try to do like more like a true book adaptation. I thought they casted Percy Jackson perfectly in the movies. I don't like how they casted him in the show so far, but we'll see what
That's
happens.
usually
Actually,
not a good
it's
sign.
funny because I actually think it's the opposite for me. I like
Really?
the new casting because in the books they're like super young. They're like what, 13,
Yeah.
14?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how most of the books are for I think,
Right.
the,
Like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, supposed to be
Exactly.
what,
Like
15 or something.
15, yeah.
and he's
15,
like freaking
yeah.
30 years old, like dude, and he looks 30 is the thing. He like looks like a 30-year-old, and it's like, dude, I can't invest in this character knowing that he's like old as hell.
Well, yeah, Percy Jackson's supposed to be like 12 or 13 in the first book. I think it goes like between his 12th and 13th birthday.
Yeah.
And they cast somebody that looked like 16, 17. So it's still like reasonably close. Like he actually did look like a teenager. He didn't look 25 in the movie.
Right.
But that also got me thinking, like, just that entire universe, I feel like could be like a cool video game as well. They could do something cool there. And they've got so much
God of War.
Well, not really. Not really. What are you talking about?
I know. I just messing with you.
Okay, I was like, I mean, if you want to say that like mythological gods is just like, okay, there can only be one series about that.
Just Percy Jack ripping apart.
You just
all
have
the
the half blood camps, and you can go to each one and
Yeah.
do whatever the hell you want.
Dude, I always thought the Hephaestus camp was always so cool.
Yeah.
Like they would just like be building stuff, like the watches and stuff that would do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like if
Have
they
you
were to
guys-
make
have
a
you guys-
game. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, Connor was gonna ask something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I haven't really heard a lot about this show. Is it planning on spanning to like the Roman series? Is it just going to follow the events of the first 2 books? What's the plan on the actual timeline?
My guess is that right now they're just starting off. They haven't. I don't think they've given us details in terms of like what the first season's going to cover, and I don't think they want to quite yet. They have to move fast, and I think that's part of the reason why they started up the way they did. Like they have a super young cast, so they can grow it to do like the longer running. Where if they wanted to do that second series where they bring in the Roman camp, they could without the actors becoming 40 by the time they actually get to it. But we'll see. I don't, all I'm saying is I'm excited for it, and I think it could be like on the horizon, like an interesting video game series if they were going to use that universe in that sense. Like I don't know how much you want to make the same story over and over again, like book, movie, and game, same exact thing. But it would be interesting to see if they do something similar to Hogwarts Legacy and the fact that they book movies are like the exact same thing, but then they use the whole like past universe, or like they want to go to the future, that same type of universe on a game edition, if that makes sense. Something interesting that
You know,
could come
it's weird. I wonder if kids nowadays actually read the Percy Jackson. It's weird to think about now that we're older.
I know.
Like, is it a common thing to read when you're younger now?
I
I
don't know.
don't think so.
I hope so. Dude, those are so fucking good, man. I read those.
Those
so
are
much.
really
I was
good,
like,
yeah.
That was
Because
my
they'd
favorite
be
book series as a kid.
I guess they'd be betting on like our generation then to be like the fans of this, who actually have read
Right.
the books or
Yeah.
watched the movie.
That's my guess. I we'll see. Again, I think they're gonna. They canceled. They obviously canceled the movie series after the shit second one. So
The
we'll
first
see
one,
how
I
many
actually
seasons
liked
this
the
lasts.
first one.
I like the first one too, yeah.
First one was okay. Second one was really, really bad.
But when they made Annabeth just such a like brain dead character in the newer movie, it just kind of ruined it for me.
She's hot as fuck though, so that's all that mattered.
Yeah, right.
They were messing around.
Dude, you know, it'd be a good book series to turn into a movie or like a game or something. There was, I'm sure you guys have never read it, but it was this book series called Leviathan.
No.
I'm assuming it doesn't ring a bell. But it was
The
like
Aragon?
about
The whole different book series, my guy.
What are you
yeah,
talking-
whole different.
Did you say Aragon?
It was like-
you dumbass.
Okay, so hear me out. It was this alternate timeline where World War One took place, and the German and like was it World War One Axis and Allied?
Yes.
I'm bad at history.
I believe so.
No, Axis.
So the Axis.
No, whatever.
Okay, well, the German Allied forces were like using biotechnology, so they had like all of their, instead of tanks and airships and stuff, they were like living creatures that they would use. So like the Leviathan was this gigantic blimp that was like a creature. And
That's
then,
dope.
And then the other side, or was it the Switch? It might be Switch. One of the sides focused on biotechnology, and the other focused on like super powerful mechs or something. It was like steampunk type mechanical warfare.
Oh yeah.
And I thought it was so cool because they clashed, and you followed like one of like, I think it was like the Austrian Archduke Ferdinand's son or something, and he's like
This
the
sounds
central
like
focus.
the Earth-based Avatar.
Kind of. Maybe.
I mean, I
You'd have
just
to read
looked
it.
it
It was
up,
actually a really good book.
Okay.
I thought.
and like the first thing that came up was like the blimp, where it shows like the living creature, like a artist depiction of it.
Adaptation.
Yeah,
It actually
oh,
looks
dude, they
pretty
had this
cool.
sick art. They had this sick artwork that they had every once in a while in the pages, and you got to see like the different inventions and stuff that one side would make.
Yeah, I can't see a
This
damn
is like
thing on my
a-
phone.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
You
sure
just have to
it
look it
looks
up
like
on
it.
your own. But
It
Okay.
does
Yeah.
look pretty cool. I'm with Connor on this one.
like the Ottomans had like this gigantic robotic elephant where one person would sit in each of the legs to pilot it.
So it's Star Wars.
Kind of.
Or Transformers.
Alternate history. Yeah. Well, no. They would sit on like the side, so they were like exposed, and they would sit on like these like
Yeah.
platforms. It's like cool. You guys should check it out though.
It's a
Sounds cool,
three-book
yeah.
series.
So what else we got going on?
So much. Actually, not much, but I feel like since Hogwarts Legacy and Sons of the Forest came out, it's kind of been a lull these last few weeks in terms of
Yeah.
Yeah,
releases. But we'll have some stuff coming out. I know, Curtis, you're excited for Dead Island 2. None of us have really played the first game all that much, but I know you're excited about it, so I don't know if you would have done that.
There hasn't been a whole lot on it. I mean, the first one did release probably at almost 10 years ago, we've been rated for like the sequel to it for almost 10 years, and it's been a lot of like basically just put in developer hell for the last how many years, and it's switched developers and switched roles and everything, and it's been a tough time for them. But it got delayed again. So now that a release date, it only got pushed back a week. So now it's April
Okay.
21st, and a lot of people are doing like their final previews of the game. And the game actually looks really cool. There was I know IGN did like a voiceover preview of the game itself, and it's kind of sticking true to what it is, where it's just like a free-for-all zombie. You're basically on an island, just free-for-all zombies, and you do whatever you want. A lot of cool new weapons, a lot of cool new zombies. So I'm excited to see where it goes when it comes out April 21st, because it's been a hell of a long time. But yeah, it's kind of nice because Dead Rising 4 was kind of a shit game when that came out. I don't know if you guys play the Dead Rising series at all.
No.
I played 2 and 3, I think.
Yeah, those were similar games, but it was more of like you were stuck in a. I know, like just for instance, Dead Rising 2, you were stuck in a mall, and you had to basically build whatever you could. So you could build like a baseball bat with like nails coming out of it, and then you could go around and beat the shit
Negan
out of
style.
zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you could have like a paddle board, go into like the paddle board shop, grab one, and then duct tape a chainsaw to it, and then you can go around and just. It was a
that
cool
shit
game.
had funny combinations. They had like a Tekken suit that you could have like lightning claws.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or brass knuckles that were like lightning ones. I mean, it was a pretty cool game. So I'm excited to see a new just a new game come in that whole zombie universe. But
Yeah, the Dead Island series is more of like an RPG type, because I know in Dead Island 2 they were looking to expand the skill trees. So, like as you get DNA or something like that, you get enhanced like perks and abilities for your character to use.
Oh, I
And
didn't
I think
realize it was like an RPG. Or it's like more of a
it's like
story,
it's
like
a
long-term
loot
story.
based. Yeah, it's a loot based skill tree progression type RPG.
Okay.
With that open world ability to it, so you can
Dude, I'm
explore like
so
time.
tired of playing the same zombie game over and over and over
Right.
again.
First
Like,
person shooter zombie games.
yeah, where it's just round based and like, oh, you beat this round.
yeah,
you're on
no,
the
this
next
this
round,
one
and
you
then beat a
got
map.
as many tools as you can find, and you loot to make new weapons and everything. But there's like the animations for it too. They show some in the preview where you're like grabbing a zombie that's head's already half gone, and you just like put your fist straight through it, and you're like ripping them out, and then drop kicking them, and you can curb stomp them too. It's just like an all out fun zombie game. So I hope it turns out pretty good.
Here's the real question, though. How much is this going to be on release?
I don't know. Typically, they
$70.
weren't really full price. I think the original ones were all like $30-$40. They never were
Okay.
really full price. But I'd be curious to see this one. I think it might be 50 or 60, but I
70.
don't think it's going to be 70.
All right, we'll see.
Because they said, well, I saw a post too from IGN that the main story is going to take about 20 hours to complete, so you get a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I know, speaking of games we're waiting on, I know we saw Dark and Darker. It's coming out soon, but I know Connor's got some things he wants to talk about with the studio regarding Dark and Darker.
Yeah, so there was this big drama a little while ago where the studio that creates Dark and Darker, which is called Iron Mace, they were basically... Okay, backstory. So the developers at Iron Mace used to work for a much larger development company. If I can remember the name of it. Nexon.
Nexon. Yeah.
Yeah, Nexon, this development company that was... It's like a huge corporation. They make, I think, the Forza games. And they worked for that, and then they split off to do their own thing, as a lot of developers do. So they made their own company called Iron Mace. They started production of Dark and Darker, and then they were accused, I believe, by Nexon, the company itself, of using code from their company in Iron Mace's game Dark and Darker, which is a pretty big accusation. Obviously, it's illegal. That's all copyrighted material and stuff like that. So, the company that was accused of it, Iron Mace, is actually located in South Korea, and they were raided by the South Korean police. And apparently they had to go through all this different paperwork and stuff like that. And from what I understand of the situation, there has been no legitimacy to the claims. So there's no problems. Dark and Darker will still be developed. And I don't think they were charged with anything. So it's good news.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a game like Dark and Darker, I think Noah specifically would enjoy. I don't know if you've looked at it too much, Noah, but I mean, it seems like it could be a really cool game.
Give me that 2-minute breakdown of what it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know close to nothing about that game. So
roughly, let me pull up the Steam description here to give you a little better idea. But it's more of like a not like a battle royale, but like a free for all when you're going through these dungeons, and it's a PvP VE game. So basically, you and your team are going through dungeons as like a first person shooter. And not first person shooter, sorry. First person like
I have a
swords,
better description.
bows, mages, yeah, go for it.
It's medieval Tarkov.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Sums it up.
It's a 4-person medieval Tarkov, and you have different roles for each of the person. Like one's a mage, one's an assassin, one's a knight, stuff like that.
I'm fucking game for that.
I never played Tarkov, so I didn't know.
So
Tarkov was just an irritating game.
The loot you get.
It's such a rage-inducing game.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The loot you get in the round or whatever, when you go in, you keep that and you can use it for later runs. And you can like sell them, get gold to get other stuff.
Okay.
And if you guys like General Sam, you should check him out on YouTube. He's a really cool content creator. I think he's hilarious. He does really funny things on Dark and Darker where he's like, he screws over his teammates. And because you could, like, sometimes there can only be one person that escapes. And he'll like rush towards it and just leave all his teammates behind. And they're all like screaming at him. They're like, don't use that portal.
Yeah, but you'll fight like generated enemies too throughout, and you can clash with everybody. So it's actually a pretty cool concept. They had a free trial. What?
I actually saw that there's bosses as well.
Okay. Oh, I
Is
didn't
this
see
game
that
out
yet.
right now, or is it like still in
No.
beta, or what is it?
Yeah, you
They
can
had
play it. You can play it in beta, but I think they're going to do like a final release.
They got rid of the beta. It was only for a limited time. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Okay, so,
So-
when's it scheduled to release then?
It just says coming soon.
And that's some
Classic.
bullshit.
It should be coming out relatively soon though, because this was part of like where they released
Is Dark
like a
and
trial
Darker.
version for it that you could play.
April 14th.
it's like a month away. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, hold on. 14th of April until April.
2025.
This is a playtest. The next playtest is next month.
I'm
Okay.
down to play test it with you guys. If
I'd like to
Whenever
see
it
how the
releases.
Monday
Q3.
progresses, because I saw a decent amount of the early playtest.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not a playtest next month, just to give it a shot. But the actual full game looks like it's coming out in Q3, so like September-ish.
Yeah, I'd still be excited for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, pretty cool
You know what
concept.
they say, no news is bad news. So
Right.
I'm sure that this swatting incident is probably good for their publicity.
Yeah.
Probably. Basically saying that, hey, we didn't copy and paste code from another dev team. Like, gamers hate that shit, especially if you're... I guess the only pass you would get is if the game is really good, despite that, but people don't like playing the same game over and over again, especially if they have to pay however much this is going to be when it releases. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. I'm excited for that. I love the concept though, because again, like the frustrating part about playing Tarkov is that your entire round can end in an instant from a bullet, and while there's definitely some appeal and it's a fun game, a medieval version where it's a little bit lower consequence in terms of like, if you don't see somebody coming and they have to fucking hit you with a sword, like, you deserve to die. No way around that shit. I haven't play tested it, so I don't know if that's the case, but like conceptually, that's kind of why I'm excited for something like this. But yeah, we'll find some time to play test this next month.
For sure. I'd be so down.
Speaking of companies and allegations, that someone that's been setting a good role, I know we talked about it in our last podcast with Microsoft. I know Noah had something he wanted to bring up about Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft, they are pretty much taking the polar opposite approach from what Sony's doing. So Sony's approach to like game development and kind of how they roll that out to game consoles is they release it first on PS4 pretty much exclusively. They did this with Spider-Man. They did it with God of War. They've done it with a lot of their games, where you have to have the PlayStation 5 or the PlayStation 4 in order to actually play the game. Microsoft is taking the polar opposite approach with their acquisition of Activision Blizzard. They're trying to maximize the places that you can purchase and play the game. We thought they were going to do the opposite, but they did announce that like they're partnering with Ubitus. It's a gaming streaming provider. Like just another example of like them opening up the floodgates in terms of the people that can access their games. And I think like the other way you can look at this is them almost like ceding the battle to PlayStation in terms of like they know people aren't going to buy the Xbox because they've lost pretty much 2 generations in terms of like PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. Like they were definitely more frequently purchased in the Xbox One, or was it the Xbox Series S or something like
Series
whatever
X or
Series X or whatever it was. So that's the other way to think about it. But overall, I think that it's promising because, again, everyone's biggest concern with Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard is that they are going to just gatekeep all of the games that were a part of Activision Blizzard into Microsoft properties. And it seems like that's not going to be the case. Could certainly change, and that merger hasn't gone through yet. But promising to see some of the things that are coming out with like some of the partnerships that they're announcing. So not sure if you guys have any thoughts on this at all.
I have both consoles, and I mean, it's just kind of nice. I know it's expensive, not realistic to have both, but I mean, with the PlayStation exclusives, it's just kind of like if you want PlayStation exclusives, you'd need the PlayStation, and it's kind of nice that Xbox doesn't really have. It'd be nice to have their own exclusive, but it's not as bad because you can still play a lot of Microsoft exclusives on PC now, and I know Sony's been doing that kind of crossover, so even though Sony's kind of staying on their exclusives, they're opening up their horizons with moving everything to PC, so it's kind of nice to see that as well.
Yeah, it just happens after a few years. Like, they didn't release the first or second Spider-Man games, like, for a while until to PC. I don't think they've released it on Xbox. I'm not quite sure if they have or not, but
I don't
was
think
like
they
multiple
will.
years before they released God of War onto PC after they released it on the PS4, and the PS5. So again, I'm hoping that Microsoft does kind of follow through with this and just kind of open up the access to all their games that they have ownership over, with them acquiring all these new studios.
Yeah. I mean, with their Halo franchise too, I've always loved it, but I know we've talked about it before, how it's just kind of, it's not nearly the same as it used to be, and I kind of think that franchise is at a dead end where they either need to make another one that's a banger, or it's just not going to go anywhere, and they're pretty
they
much
need to
done with
take
it.
343 Industries off the reins with that one.
Yeah,
They've done nothing but vomit.
yeah. I
Also,
hate to see
I
it,
feel like
but
it
I mean,
didn't help because the Halo TV show is straight up booty cheeks as well.
yeah.
No
Everyone
one,
was
dude,
so
no.
excited for that too.
I can assure you, no fan was like rooting for the TV show to like revive the series.
No,
fair.
it was more just
Everyone
like,
was like, it's a game show, like a video game show adaptation. It's gonna be like either mid or really bad.
Did you guys ever watch the Red and Blue Wars on YouTube? I'm pretty sure it was, or like
No.
the original. They
I know
did
what
like
they
a
are, but I never watched them.
it was like a Halo show where it was like Red and Blue team that you would fight. Pretty sure it was like Halo 2 or 3 they did it on.
Okay.
But it was two sides, and it was like there was just like talking shit commentary over like the characters in Halo, and it was actually really funny. But it's been a long time since I've watched those, and that kind of
I think they
reminds me of
worked
the
with
old
Machinima.
Halo. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, they did.
Shino's been a
Are they even
fucking name
around
I haven't
anymore?
heard
Yeah,
in a
whatever
long
happened to
time.
Machinima? I haven't
I
heard
think
that.
there was a
name
big,
forever.
I think there was a
Falling
big
out.
controversy
Yeah.
because it gave a bunch of dog water contracts that like it's like
Yeah.
you know how you always hear about like those music contractors giving like horrible deals to people and they just want to get out. That's
Well, yeah,
what
they
happened
would
with
take a
Machinima.
percentage of your. They would take like a percentage of the ad sales that creators were, because it was like a partner network. So they would take a portion of the creators' revenue by saying like Machinima propped them up, so they got viewership. So that was like
And
the
they had
concept.
the deals for like 4 years too, which people didn't think about at the time. Was like they didn't really think it was that long of a time, but in YouTube time, that is like your whole career usually.
Right.
And people were like, "Dude, I want out," and they're like, "Nope, you gotta wait for the 4 years." And they're like, "Oh my god, what did I sign?"
Right. So, like, again, not to go down that rabbit hole, but I don't know, man. I remember when I saw that Halo trailer for the first time. I don't know how many years ago that was, but I just remember like hearing the Master Chief voice at the end of the trailer, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, they're doing like like Master Chief's coming to like I don't know, cinema's not the right word, but like
The big screen.
Streaming.
Whatever.
canon, I guess you could call it."
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or live action. So I just remember the excitement for it, and just how many people were pissed about how terrible it was.
Dude, it could have been
was
such a
definitely
cool show.
somebody, but it wasn't no Master Chief. That's for sure.
No,
Wasn't the whole thing about Master Chief was that like you just never knew who was under the helmet? He just always had it on. Like
Yeah, you never got to
similar
see
like
his
the
face.
Mandalorian, right?
Yeah,
Where it's like it's the dude in the helmet.
Yeah.
He's like supposed to be this badass character, and then in the TV show, he's like,
yeah.
"Hey,
Episode 2.
what's up? Hey, it's me."
Throws it
Yeah.
out, just like
The Mandalorian,
Dude, what
we did
the
the
fuck?
last episode of the first season where you were like, "Oh shit, this is actually you actually have some like emotional connection to the character." And you're like, "Oh, shit."
Definitely, yeah.
Even though you can stay with the fucking credits at the end, and you can see Pedro Pascal's Mando, but it's still cool to see.
Dude, Joel be wildin' in the future, dude.
I was gonna say,
Right.
what is Joel doing with Baby Yoda? What's going on here?
Why is Oberyn Martell? But anyway, I don't know. Do you guys have any other thoughts around this like whole Microsoft thing, or are you guys kind of like in the same boat where it's like promising, but we'll see what actually ends up happening?
The only thing I'm like worried about is if they bring games onto the Nintendo Switch, because the Switch is like such. I mean, it's a good console, but its capabilities are so limited. So until
Yeah.
like Nintendo releases maybe like a Nintendo Switch Pro where it can keep up with like the better graphics, the better
It's got the specs.
optimization for it, right? That's the only like downfall I see with that. But I guess we'll have to find out. Yeah.
Joy-Cons are kind of ass too.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the console's nice, but I wish they would redesign something a little bit. I mean,
I'm
look
just
at
sick of the exclusivity, man.
yeah. Because I mean, like I have the
yeah.
PlayStation, I have the Xbox, I have the Switch. It's like I can only play these games on this console, and I'm stuck, and I can't have the best of everything. So
I
Like,
think
think
it's
about how
fine for you,
convenient
though.
Steam is. Like
Yeah.
Steam's just like the one-stop shop for everything, basically. And I
Yeah,
mean,
you get the
Monopoly
Steam
isn't
Deck.
good, but like sometimes convenience is
The
overrides
Amazon
that.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I really like 2-day shipping, but they're putting every small business out of business. But yeah, no, I
There's
feel
got to
you.
be
And
some
again, I
good
think,
middle ground.
Right.
I feel like what Microsoft is doing is getting away from that exclusivity. So, again, we're not sure if that's going to hold up when things actually go through, because that whole Activision Blizzard partnership isn't final yet, and they haven't gotten sign off on the merger. So, or the acquisition. I don't really know if it's called a merger or an acquisition. Microsoft's acquiring them, so I'm going to call it an acquisition. But these partnerships that they're developing are promising for the fact that they are going to take more of a open doors approach to releasing games from all the different game publishers. So we'll see.
Yeah, I swear if these acquisitions take any more developing time away from Elder Scrolls, I'm going to be pissed. Phil
Dude, it's
Spencer's up there. Yeah, you know what? Let's buy another company. Fuck it. We don't need to work on these games anymore. They're waiting long enough anyways.
Curtis needs it now. Give it to him now.
Give me
Oh,
something, dude.
We've decided to scrap all the development time and
Yes.
developers that have been working on Elder Scrolls 6 and decided to create another racing game.
Yeah. We added an expansion to Fallout 76, and we also added another map pack to Elder Scrolls Online.
Dude, does
can
anybody
now
even
buy
play
Elder
Fallout
Scrolls
anymore?
mobile.
Are they done with Fallout as a series entirely? Because
Keep seeing pop-ups. I keep seeing updates, like they're still updating the game and talking about
No,
how
they're
good
not.
it is, and I'm like, I don't remember a single person saying this game was good.
I think I played Fallout 4. I didn't even like that one. I think.
The original Fallouts are actually pretty good, but
Yeah, and that's why I was excited to play Fallout 4, because I watched all the playthroughs of the previous Fallouts.
3 is the best one.
Yeah, I watched Fallout 3, and I got Fallout 4. I was like, this is shit. I don't know what's going on here.
Fallout 4 had the potential to be an amazing game, but it really fell flat in like the choice making. Like it didn't feel like any of the choices mattered at all.
No, I just kind of felt like I
Yeah.
was wandering around. You know, just like, okay.
There's going to be another Elden Ring debacle.
No.
Yeah.
No. Again, it didn't feel like anything
Noah
had any
the
impact.
Lost.
Oh, the Lost.
I put a lot of hours in that game, so it's not like I just refunded it immediately. That wasn't one of those scenarios. I just didn't enjoy the game. After I think I probably played like 10 to 15 hours. So I was just kind of like, okay, guess I'm wandering around following the story, but also didn't really feel like I had.
Didn't they add base building like after it came out?
I don't know. I wasn't playing when they had base building, so.
I really when I played, I liked that aspect of it. I liked that you could make your own settlement. That was pretty cool.
Right.
I don't remember. I never played
It
4.
was like an advanced version of Hearth. Was it Hearth and Home or Hearthstone or something? For
Hearth and Home
Skyrim?
for Skyrim, yeah.
Yeah, like that one was. It was like an advanced version of that where it wasn't just like a home for your character. It also had, so you could have traders come and there'd be raids on it too,
Mhm.
and it would play an actual important role in
That's
the
cool.
events of the game.
Yeah, that's dope.
But nobody plays Fallout anymore. I don't know if I don't know if anybody saw if they're doing anything with that franchise, or it's just kind of a dead franchise that they're ignoring now in lieu of, because all
I have
of it
seen
is
the
developed.
updates, but it's pretty dead in the water.
Okay, well, then we'll just stop talking about it. Do you guys have anything else you wanna chat about? I feel like that's a lot of the big gaming news that has come out recently. I know there's a lot of stuff coming out in April, but the rest of March is pretty quiet from what I've seen.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, all is calm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Calm
Well,
before the
we're gonna
storm,
wrap
I
it up there.
guess.
Yeah, so we'll wrap it up. Again, thanks everybody for joining. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that bell button to get notifications when we do release new podcasts. Make sure you follow our Instagram, our Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, where we post social clips from these podcasts on the daily. If you don't have time to watch the full episode, that's a great spot to just get what's important. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you. Peace
See
out.
you guys.
Peace.